Tiger is king of Cog Hill. Kingston commands in Cologne. And Mills hangs tough in Utah. Welcome to another edition of SG Daily. We have got your full wrap from the world of golf after a word from our sponsor, Grandin Toy.
Hey, I need you to beam me from Vancouver to Toronto, like now.
Oh, I'm a techie, not a...
No, seriously. Meeting here, presentation there, 2 places, 1 me. And 6 marble mochas to keep me going.
All you need is the right collaborative technology, like a digital whiteboard with PC and internet connectivity, enabling you to interactively web conference with anyone, anywhere, all from your office.
You mean no more running for red eyes? Well, I could hug you, man.
How's about a handshake?
Tech Solutions Advisors, Grandin Toy, performance-enhancing offices.
As far as final rounds go, Sunday at the BMW Championship was never going to be anything but a formality. Tiger Woods with a 7-shot lead. That's like Alexander Ovechkin on a breakaway against an empty net. Still, there was some golf to be played and some standings to be settled, so it's off to Cog Hill we go. Jim Furyk in the chase for second. He is one of the best bunker players on tour, and he shows it on the 6th hole to get to 7 under. Zach Johnson is not one of the best bunker players on tour, statistically near the bottom, and that was a Shankopotamus. Kevin Na on the par 5 9th. It is long, but you wouldn't know it. We saw an albatross from John Senden earlier this playoffs, and no, just misses. Anthony Kim on the par 3 12th. Hasn't had a great year by his standards. This shot looks good though.
But
Off the flag, Kim makes birdie. Tiger Woods doesn't have much to do today. Just ho-humming his way along on the 7th hole for birdie. This significant because nobody else had made birdie to that point, so Woods does. And then on the par 3 14th, his tee shot, Woods hates it. But there's an old adage that says to be lucky, you have to be good, and Tiger Woods is very, very good. He actually missed that putt, but it really didn't matter. Zach Johnson shanked a shot earlier from the sand. This is much better, holes out. But the shot of the day goes to Ernie Els. We confess a soft spot for the South African, but he earned shot of the day honors on merit. With this, his 3rd on his finishing hole, the 9th. Back to Woods, eating up the par 5s at Cog Hill this week. This, his 2nd shot on the 15th hole. And it almost stays up on the collar, but Tiger Woods' ball usually does what he wants it to do, and it rolls back to 6 feet. He would make the eagle. Now, jump ahead to the 18th hole. Brandt Snedeker needing to 2-putt to get to the Tour Championship. But the unthinkable happens. He 4-putts, giving his spot up to John Senden. Woods on 18 for par, taps in, 6th win of the year, 71st of his career, and of course he assumes the FedEx Cup points lead. So the final leaderboard looks like this. Tiger Woods with an 8-shot victory in the end over Jim Furyk and Mark Leishman. Leishman, the rookie Australian, accorded himself well playing with Woods in the final group. Sean O'Hare had a nice final round, a 5 under 66 to finish on 10 under. As for the Canadians, Stephen Ames had a solid round at 2 under 69 to finish at -3, and in a tie for 15th, Mike Weir with an even par 71 to finish tied for 20th. Now Weir holds his spot in the FedEx Cup standings at 27th. He will move on to Eastlake. Stephen Ames' playoffs, however, are done. The FedEx top 5 looks like this. Tiger Woods, Steve Stricker, Jim Furyk, who has not won since the 2007 Canadian Open, Zach Johnson, a 2-time winner this year, and Barclays champ Heath Slocum. Now, all 5 of those players will win the FedEx Cup should they win the Tour Championship. We look at some of those failing to advance. Ian Poulter was the unlucky man at 31. He missed by 1 point. Anthony Kim will also pack his bags and go home. Sergio Garcia and last year's Tour champion Camilo Villegas are in the same boat. We already mentioned Ames. He finished 55th on the standings through the 3 playoff events.
I hit the ball probably as well as I think I've hit it pretty good the last 4 or 5 tournaments. I just hadn't made anything. This week I got rolling, made some putts, and it's just amazing the momentum, how it just kind of turns over itself. And you know, yesterday was a prime example of that. I made a few putts, got rolling, got a little bit more aggressive, and you know, things just happened. My trainers and Hank and all the hard work we put in to get to this point. I mean, it's countless hours of rehab, and trust me, it sucked at times. The amount of pain you had to go through to get to a point where you could play, then the recovery, you don't know how it's going to be in the beginning of the year. A lot of uncertainty. I know I was getting badgered pretty good by the press of, why aren't you playing more? Well, the last thing you want to do is, hurt your leg, by playing too much early. And I think I did the right things this year.
I mean, I know I'll finish second and haven't won, but it really feels like a victory for me. Just to do it the way I did, playing with Tiger was great. To play well with him, and I knew I had to finish inside the top 4 to get into the Tour Championship, and managed to do it. So I mean, couldn't have asked for anything more out of this week apart from a win. But with Tiger playing the way he played, it was going to be fairly tough.
Over to the European Tour, it was James Kingston winning the Mercedes-Benz Championship on the first playoff hole over Anders Hansen. Both players had finished on 13 under par. And there was a playoff on the LPGA Tour as well, the P&G Beauty Northwest Arkansas Championship. Ji Shin took her 3rd title of the year, prevailing in extra holes over Sun Young Yu and Angela Stanford. Elena Sharp of Hamilton, Ontario, was the only Canadian to make the cut. She finished tied for 54th. On the Nationwide Tour, John Mills and Chris Barilla both carded 4 rounds under par. Both those players finishing with top 15 results. That event was still going on as we went to air. Also making the cut were Dustin Risden and Brian DeCorso. They both cashed checks as well. At the Walker Cup, the United States romped to a 16.5 to 9.5 victory over Great Britain and Ireland. That the team competition that takes place every 2 years. The US has now won 3 straight competitions. Sticking with the amateur scene, Canadian senior champs Graham Cook and Jackie Little have booked their spots into the match play portions of the US Men's Senior Amateur and the US Women's Senior Amateur respectively. A couple of other Canadians were fighting for spots as play wound down. We'll have those results later on scoregolf.com. The PGA Tour is idle next week. Players making it to the Tour Championship are given a week to rest. And that's when SG Daily will be back on the air, bringing you all the highlights from East Lake in Atlanta.